Hello. Khabib Nurmagomedov is a genius. When it comes to the grappling game, it's as if he knows every transition before you do. His ability to control his opponents, force them to fight while he simply retains a vantage point. There is little to no one else as complete as Khabib when it comes to grappling, but he has another tool in his kit that is quite sneaky. This man here executed it beautifully. It's a very unorthodox punch, not familiar to boxing. Does anyone know where Khabib threw this punch? It's the one he landed on Conor McGregor clean. This punch may be mistaken for an overhand, but it's different. You rarely see it, and it's understandable as to why. If boxing has a heavy influence in the stand-up element of mixed martial arts, and textbook boxing seeks to minimize telegraph by as much as possible, this punch completely breaks that rule. In this instance, the punch counterintuitively masks the telegraph by throwing the arm back and dipping the head low. Now, what does this achieve? This punch sells the takedown attempt by throwing the arm far back. It looks like a shoot. Observe how far back Khabib's arm is. Look at Conor's eyes. He's not looking at the punch at all. We see the exact same thing happen here. Gerald Harris dips his head low, throws his arm far back. And look at Anatoly Tokov's eyes. He's looking at the shoulder, premeditating the possibility of a shoot. Even when the hands are about to touch his chin, he's still looking at that shoulder. That's how sneaky this punch is. It's like the paper ball overhead trick. Believing the ball will still be in his hand, your brain fills in the blanks, premeditating, thus painting a reality that is not congruent with the truth. Also, the mechanics of the punch make it land like lightning. By dipping your head low and throwing your arm back, it causes a slingshot effect which snaps the arm back forward. By the time they realize what happened, it's just too late. The punch is already connecting. Plus, it's just so fast. The level change paired with the recoil has the arm snap forward, to which that speed cannot be dealt with the moment you fall for the trick. Really? Whoever taught this to Khabib was a very sly fellow. It takes a lot into consideration. It's a very sneaky yet powerful trick. Connection. Anatoly Tokov is concussed, but he refuses to give up. He tripods to re-establish his base, but the first attempt fails. Thus, he falls back to the canvas. He's still there. Anatoly is still there. He tries again, working himself back to his feet. Now, if this was Khabib, instantly Khabib would notice what was happening. He would break Tokov down from his attempt to establish his base. He would grab a wrist or pull him off his center mass. We see more of these situations with Khabib when he's against the cage, as he can use it to leverage and limit his opponent's options. But even in this instance, I don't believe Khabib would let it get to this point. He's always aware of his opponent's options in every moment. He knows what you want to do even before you know what you want to do, because he understands every sequence and every option you have available. I talk a lot about Khabib's grappler strength, which is a very real thing, as you can see him hold positions many others break from. But a lot of it is his balance and ability to retain leverage from certain points as well. If any human being were to grind another with sheer strength alone, they would gas. Versus Dustin Poirier, Khabib Nurmagomedov actually demonstrated this. When Dustin was a little more tired, he allowed Dustin to get a guillotine, knowing his arms would get tired doing so. Dustin squeezed everything he had. It was his last effort. He believed he could finish the fight with this. Unfortunately, it was not enough. And that, what was truly shattered, the diamond spirit. There are physics to this reality, and Dustin had burned the fuel his arms needed to continue. Khabib, he tricked him. It was part of his plan.
I watch all his fights, and I know he is all the time going to guillotine. I give him because I feel he lost so much energy, so much power because of guillotine. Part of the game, how I can play with my opponents. Not many people can understand this.
He wanted Dustin to tire out his arms. This is just a mere glint of the level of confidence and understanding Khabib has when it comes to the grappling game. The man is not just phenomenally strong, he's truly a genius. Thus, in this instance, I believe Khabib would prioritize control and position before he decided to pound his opponent out. If he saw his opponent regaining a strong position, I believe he would have broken him down from it. In Jiu-Jitsu, you're taught position then submission. I think we actually see a very similar philosophy with Khabib: position then pound or submission. Anatoly Tokov reestablishes his base, defends the oncoming punches, and makes his way to the cage where he rotates from Gerald's clasp, then gets an over-under position which allows him to break Gerald's grip. Here, we find Tokov fully recovered from the concussion. This would not happen if it was Khabib, and at this point, Gerald is tired from looking for the finish. He can't defend himself at this point. He's having a lot of trouble. Tokov grabs a guillotine and instantly sprawls away from Gerald's takedown attempt. Again, Gerald tries to attack the leg, but Tokov puts his body weight on him and sprawls his legs out once again. The moment Tokov starts squatting in this position here, there's a good chance Gerald Harris started hearing gas bubbles popping from his neck and maybe even spine. The leverage Tokov has in this position is literally lifting Gerald off his knees by his neck. From here, the bout just ends. Now this punch is something that has, for the most part, gone unknown by the masses. It's very unorthodox. Anywhere you'd ask, it'd be very easy to brand it a foolish haymaker, but there's actually a lot of brilliance behind it, as we've just discussed. Now, this leaves us open to a bigger question. With a punch like this being so very rare, what is left to be discovered? We don't even realize how much we don't know. But ultimately, we know nothing. That can be kind of a dark and scary thought. But doesn't that just mean, in a game that goes on forever, eternally, would be a lot to play? If you'd like to stay elevated, please subscribe and hit the notifications. Thank you if you did. It truly does up the channel. Thank you. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. It's good karma, and until next time, peace.